Today we're making spicy gochujang barbecue pork ribs. They are sweet, they are spicy, they are fall off the bone tender, and we're making them in the oven. Because what if you're craving barbecue but it's winter outside and you don't want to freeze your booty off? Or maybe you don't feel like cleaning up the grill, or maybe you don't have a grill. That's okay, because today we're gonna make barbecue in the oven and we're gonna make it so juicy and tender, it's super easy. Okay, so I have some spare ribs and we're just gonna clean it off with just cutting off any spare skin. And now to make it fall off the bone, we're gonna remove this silver membrane here. This membrane keeps the ribs held together, and I want fall off the bone ribs, so I'm gonna peel that off real quick. So now that I've removed the membrane, I'm gonna flip it over so it's a nice straight rack. So I'm gonna go a few bones in and see which one is the tallest bone in this top row here. It feels like it's this third one. So I'm gonna just cut a straight line across the ribs. Now we have a nice clean rack, and then I want to make it square. So I'm just gonna cut this extra flabby part over here. So now we have a straight rack of ribs. 2 racks of pork spare ribs, which have been trimmed and cleaned, no membrane in sight. And if you're not sure if the membrane has been removed, you can look for a shiny, thin, white or like silver looking film on the end. You can also ask your butcher to remove it for you if you don't want to deal with that, to make your life easier. Okay, so now for the spice rub. We're gonna make it a little bit of like Korean flavors too, to keep it on theme. So we're gonna start with some brown sugar to add sweetness. We're gonna add some Korean chili flakes, which is mild. This isn't really spicy, but it does have a smoky flavor since it's been dried. Yeah, it's very smoky. Now we're gonna add salt and garlic powder, of course, and onion powder. We're gonna also add some smoked paprika, which adds more smokiness. All right, we're gonna go a little generous here. Cumin, now I like it because we're almost out of it. A little bit of ground ginger. Final spices, some black pepper. And we'll just whisk that all together. Okay, so my spice rub is done. I'm just gonna do a quick taste test to see if I need to adjust any of the seasonings. That's hella good. It's sweet, it's salty, it's smoky, it's earthy from that ginger and the cumin. So to get the spices to really stick into the ribs, I'm gonna make a little lime butter. So I have some butter that I've softened a little bit here, and some lime juice that I'm gonna combine here, and then the lime zest as well. It's gonna be really bright and zesty, so it's going to really complement and brighten up the ribs with that smoky barbecue sauce. And since we're not actually barbecuing outside, if you can't tell, the theme is to incorporate as much smoky flavor as we can through the spices and the barbecue sauce. And we're also gonna add a little bit of liquid smoke to infuse some of that smoky flavor into the ribs as well. So I've whisked up the butter, the lime juice, lime zest, and some of that liquid smoke. I'll be honest, it doesn't look very pretty right now, but that's okay. Going to melt and infuse with that pork and the seasoning, and it's gonna be delicious. So it's ugly delicious, okay? Just bear with me here. Ooh, it's gonna be delicious. I'm so excited. This would probably be more efficient with a spoon, but that's okay. All right, and then I'm just gonna pour some of this lime juice on top. It's like giving my pork massage. If I'm not getting a massage, I'll happily give my food a massage. So that's looking good. Now I'm gonna flip them over and do the bony side now. So that's all slathered. We're gonna sprinkle the spice rub onto both sides of these ribs. But this isn't only for ribs. You can definitely put it on other things as well. Put it on your eggs for breakfast. Okay, this is looking good and it smells so good. I can smell that chili and the sugar and the cumin, that smoky cumin. Okay, it's looking good. Okay, so now we're gonna flip it over. Flip them over, and I'm gonna grab some of that butter from the other side and slather it on. All right, and then we're going to generously season this. The back of the ribs where the bones are, you don't have to season them as heavily, but definitely on the meaty part, we're gonna be very generous. It's gonna look like a lot of spice rub, and it is, but be generous because this is going to be a super flavorful ribs. And if you don't want to use it all, no judgment. You can save the rest of it and use it for, you know, chicken, eggs, other beef, whatever you want. You can use this even for, if you want to make popcorn and do like a smoky Korean spice popcorn, you can do that too. And I'm just going to gently rub this and pack it in, right? It's looking good to me and it smells really good. Okay, and now we're gonna add a little bit of apple cider. This is not apple cider vinegar, this is apple cider. We already have the lime, so there's already acid. So I'm using apple cider to help braise this pork, and I'm pouring it around the pork. I'm not pouring it on top of it because it is seasoned and I don't want it to wash off that seasoning. But this apple cider is gonna add flavor, like a sweetness to it. Okay, so now we're gonna cover it in foil and we're gonna seal it very well so that it steams. And we don't want any of that steam to escape because that's what's gonna cook it slowly, break down all of those tough bits so that it's just gonna fall off the bone as soon as you wink at it. Okay, so now we're gonna bake our ribs at 300 degrees, low and slow, so it can take its time, becoming all delicious. Since they're pork spare ribs, we're gonna cook them from about 2.5, 3.5 hours. It really just depends on how fall off the bone you want them, but we're gonna check it at the 2.5 hour mark. If you're cooking baby back ribs, then it'll be about 2 to 2.5 hours, depending how fall off the bone tender you want them to be. All right, let's get baking them. Okay, so while the ribs are cooking, let's make our gochujang barbecue sauce. It's super easy, it's gonna be sweet, it's gonna be spicy, and it's umami packed. This gochujang barbecue sauce is so good and it's really easy. I usually make a really big batch and then I keep it in the fridge, and I usually have a mason jar of it in the fridge for chicken tenders, rotisserie chicken, put it in my sandwiches, my burgers. It's really versatile, but for today, we're gonna use it for our pork ribs. Okay, so for the base of our barbecue sauce, we're gonna start with ketchup. Heinz is the only brand of ketchup that I use. And then we're gonna do equal parts gochujang too. If you're watching this video, I assume you already know what gochujang is, but if you don't, it is a Korean sweet chili paste. It's mostly sweet, it's not really spicy. However, I found that there's different levels of spicy that you can get. So if you're a fellow spicy lover, then you can grab the spicy variety of gochujang. We'll add our brown sugar for sweetness. Rice vinegar, this is gonna balance the sweetness from the brown sugar. Honey is gonna add a little extra flavor and that stickiness to our barbecue sauce. Mirin, which is a cooking wine. It's a very commonly used cooking wine used in marinades and sauces, and it's gonna enhance the flavors of this barbecue sauce. For saltiness and extra umami, we're gonna add some soy sauce. We'll add more of those Korean chili flakes for more smokiness and flavor, and sesame oil for a nuttiness, roasted nutty flavor. Then lastly, since we're gonna be simmering this, we're gonna add some water so it's not too salty and it can reduce down. Now we're just gonna mix that up so it's smooth and combined. So we just finished the hard part, which is mixing all the ingredients together in a measuring cup. Now we're just gonna saute ginger and garlic and simmer the sauce. And that's it. Okay, so I have a little bit of oil here in the pot. I'm gonna add some grated ginger. And then we also have hella garlic. And we're just gonna saute that on low. Like when I'm frying chicken, I give myself a little pep talk like, you're cooking the chicken. You aren't the chicken. So when I see oil splattering at me, I'm like, you are brave. Now I'm going to pour in that gochujang sauce that we mixed up earlier. We're gonna let this reduce for about 15-20 minutes. It just depends on how thick you like your barbecue sauce, but we'll check maybe in like 10 to 15 minutes, stirring it occasionally so the bottom doesn't burn, especially since it has sugar and honey in here. We don't want the sugar to burn. So we're gonna stir it occasionally and let this thicken up. Today's theme has just been doing all the work up front, let it do its thing, and we're just gonna relax. And then at the end of it, we're gonna feast. So this is such an easy recipe. All right, we'll come back in a few minutes. So let's try this. Oh, be careful because it's very hot. Initially, it's really sweet, but not overly sweet, because immediately after, you get that spicy kick from that gochujang, and you get the saltiness from the soy sauce, and just a little tang from that ketchup and rice vinegar. It balances out that sweet and salty. This is so good. Okay, so now that the barbecue sauce is done reducing, you can use it now, or you can transfer it to a mason jar or some kind of glass container so you can save it for later.
A few moments later.
Okay, so it's been about 2.5 hours. Let's check on our ribs. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna carefully remove the foil. It's smelling smoky. It's looking good. Oh my gosh, it's steaming hot. So this part is really up to your preference, how fall off the bone tender you want it to be. But as a general rule of thumb, you can use a toothpick. I'm using a skewer, and I'm just sticking it in between the meats to see if there's any resistance. If there's any resistance, we're gonna pop it back in the oven to cook it a little bit longer. But let's see, this is feeling really tender. It just slides through. The texture, you want it to be like butter. So this is like sliding right through. And then also another indicator is I could see the bones here coming out. Before it was, the meat was completely covering the bones, but now I can see the bones and it's lifting. The meat is lifting from the bones, and it's even coming apart here on this side. So to me, it's already falling off the bone, which is perfect. I'm just gonna be super generous. So now I'm gonna leave these uncovered, and I'm gonna place them in the oven on the top rack to broil and caramelize and get so hot and bubbly. All right, see you in a couple minutes.
Moments later.
Bubbling. It smells so good in here. You can leave your ribs just like this with one thick layer of barbecue sauce, so they come out super glossy with a thick sticky glaze on them. Now I'm just gonna broil these ribs one more time. Alright, these are looking beautiful. Let all those juices redistribute so it stays nice and juicy. Okay, so the ribs have rested for a few minutes after being caramelized, getting all hot and bubbly. The house smells amazing, and now is the best part. We get to try it. Okay, so I cut a piece here, and look how beautiful it looks. I'm so excited. It is still very hot, so I'm gonna try to taste this without burning myself. Wow, that is so flavorful. This is definitely comfort food. It has a little bit of spice from that gochujang. It's perfectly salty, has a hint of sweetness. If you're craving barbecue, this is a great alternative to shake things up. If you want something to like mix up your barbecue and you don't want to fire up the grill, cleaning up the grill, all you have to do is throw this foil away and you're good to go. You don't have to worry about firing up the grill, cleaning the grill. You know, if it's winter time, freezing your booty off to satisfy your barbecue craving, you can just pop this in the oven and you have super juicy, succulent barbecue ribs. Okay, these ribs are so tender. Just look how easily this comes off of the bone. And this is my gochujang barbecue ribs. I hope you try it. The link to the recipe is in the description. Let me know, when you get barbecue, what's your favorite cut you always have to get? Let me know in the comments and I'll see you on the next one. Toodaloo!